Okay, welcome everyone to the BIA meeting of February 8th, 2022 at just after 7 p.m., 7:06. And I'd like to bring the meeting to order. Let's start out by getting through, tonight's agenda isn't very long, but let's get into any amendments that anybody might have for the agenda before we go ahead and make a motion. I know there's a couple of things I added. I don't see anyone's hand. So under events, I'm going to add Linda, if that's okay. Where are you, Linda? For food tour?
Yes.
You saying okay? Perfect. And Heather, would you like me to add something into events from the Economic Development Committee, or?
I'm not the Economic Development one, but I can report back to after speaking to the chamber.
Okay, perfect. I knew there was something I had to update you on. So chamber, Heather.
And Easter, I just want to get that on the everybody's radar.
Okay, so Easter, Sarah, update. Great. Any other updates we might have since the AGM? Gosh, it just feels like yesterday, but I think it was 10 days ago.
2 weeks.
And then the financial report tonight will be, I'm hoping, the approval of the 2022 proposed budget, excuse me. So that's really the purpose of tonight, is to sort of look over the budget. Let's approve it. And then if there's any other business that needs to be done. Oh, Jackie was going to join us. I don't see her. Let's just see if she's... Jackie was going to join us from Mexico, and I said that's dedication.
Crazy. That's just crazy. That's what I think.
She's on the beach, and then we all might want to be.
She's gonna have a cocktail in hand.
All right, that would be the case.
I appreciate the commitment, though.
On vacation,
and then she forgot, so that's fine.
Yeah, no, she had texted me yesterday and said, "I'm going to do my best to come to that meeting." I was like, "Okay." Okay, so anything else for the agenda, or does somebody want to make a motion then with these amendments to go ahead and approve tonight's agenda dated February 8th, 2022? Linda's going to put the motion forward and Heather's going to second it. Thank you. And all in favor of approving tonight's agenda? Okay, perfect. So motion is carried. Thanks. Okay, so our next section is the disclosure of disqualifying interest and general nature thereof, or if anybody feels they have a conflict of interest they'd like to discuss now, now's your moment. If later on you decide that this is something that you may feel uncomfortable about, you're always welcome to turn off your camera or mute yourself if you're on the phone. Okay, so let's get into the approval of the previous minutes. So these would be the minutes, Kayla, if I'm correct, from the AGM, right?
Correct.
Yes. So has anybody given them a read through and wants to approve them? Are there any amendments that you'd like to make before we put the motion together? No changes just of yet. Oh, John, do you have a change?
Nope, I was just going to move to approve.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for putting the motion to approve the minutes. Is there someone who'd like to second the motion for the minutes of the AGM?
I'll second.
Oh, wait, just a sec here. I'm just wondering if we captured, and I'm not certain if we did, the issue around the foundation and the levy.
Okay.
We did discuss that, and I have a bit of an update on that.
Okay, perfect. So let's have a look at the minutes then. That would be,
I think it was part of the AGM presentation that we talked about that a little bit. And we did tell our membership that there had been a slight increase in the individual levies, or sorry, not even necessarily an increase. Some people might have seen a decline, but there had been a change to the levy. Mm-hmm. And I have something to report on that.
Okay, so Kayla, would you mind making that amendment to the minutes that just reflects that Sarah did mention to the membership that there had been a change in 2021 to the levy due to the fact that the township simply didn't revise their levy taxation protocols. And I don't know how to explain this. And basically the 20,000 was spread out between the existing membership as opposed to deducting the Clearview Community Foundation's levy portion out. If you need help wording that afterwards, Kayla, I can certainly help you.
No, that's fine. It's good because it's recorded, so I can go back and really
Okay.
take your words
It's
there.
kind of a long-winded explanation. So
Yeah.
good luck with that, Kayla.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that amendment, thank you for that, Sarah. Shall we go ahead? Are there any other changes? Do you want a couple seconds to just glance over the minutes again? I'm fine with that. I have no audio I can hear. I will try that. That's Jennifer. I don't know if she was saying that before or if that's a new message. Do you see Jennifer?
That's a past message.
Okay. Hopefully she's able to join us again. Kayla, do you have her phone number that you could maybe call her?
Yep, give me 1 second.
Okay. Just sort of see if she's, or maybe just send her the phone in, which she could also phone in and listen in. Okay. Does anybody have any other further changes to the minutes?
Ah, Jennifer is connecting to audio.
Here she comes.
That's what it says on our computer.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, yet. No. Come on. Oh, you missed the station on the green. Yeah.
She's
You're
gonna
gonna
use her phone.
Hey, we're good at we can read lips. That's scary.
Jennifer, I just sent you an email that has the call-in information.
Doesn't see it. Perfect. She's going. Okay, well, let's get through the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to sort of glance over them since we've been just waiting for Jennifer? Let's go ahead again with the motion if there's no changes. I think Linda put that motion forward for the minutes. Do I have somebody that seconded the motion for the minutes to approve them? I think that's where we were at. John's going to second that. All in favor of approving the minutes from the AGM meeting? Okay, thank you. Motion is carried. Let's move on to the next thing, which is a street decor update. Without Jackie here, I don't know if we really have much of an update. Do we, Sarah, or did you want to talk about the planters?
I don't think there's much to talk about in terms of the planters. It's in Heidi's hands. We've directed her to do some sort of thing that is going to offer height impact and use the lavender chairs as inspiration. So I should be getting a final thing back from her before our next meeting because they will be planting those very soon.
That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to skip through to the events. So new events. Linda had mentioned that she had had someone reach out to her from is it the Georgian Bay Tourism Association? I forget now.
It's the food tours. It's Heidi, and she does them in Collingwood and Blue Mountain, and she had in Thornbury as well in the past. And so she does food tours. It's a walking tour through the town.
It's a little bit hard to hear you.
Don't know
What hands happening here?
Yeah, it sounds like someone's drumming in the background.
no. Weird. No.
Somebody
Yeah.
hearing?
Maybe everybody else can mute. I'm going to mute.
Okay, we'll mute and we'll let Linda talk.
Is that better? No.
Just go for it. We'll manage.
Yeah, because I tried. Wait, I can try it without the headphones. Is that better? Also not. Better? No. Okay.
We'll be okay. So tell us about the food tour that you that somebody reached out to you.
I'll be quick. Yeah, so it's Collingwood Food Tours, and they would like to do Creemore as well. And I think it could be interesting for the little town. They would not be specifically only food, so they would also like to come visit the other stores, but shop owners would have a chance to promote whatever they would like to promote during the visit. And it's a 3 or 4 hour tour through the village. And she will get in touch once she has more of a program and more of an idea what she'd like to do.
So are BIA or individual people that are putting up or something to promote their business?
Yeah, that would be the question. So she's in the middle of working on it. So I guess the first question would be if it would be something that would be of interest to Creemore and the towns, and the businesses.
Yeah, I think once we got the details, it certainly might be of interest. Do you know who they're targeting to go on the food tour, like who they're marketing it to? Is it local?
So it's usually, in the past, it's usually been like just clubs and groups of people. Often it's a hen night or something of the sort, or it's people of the town that have people visiting and would like to just.
So it's not just like one particular day or weekend or something. It's like almost like a map, like the apple pie tour that they do in Thornbury. Like, do you just get like a trail and you kind of go on this tour, or how?
No, from what I understood, it is a guided tour. So she guides it. She brings the people through, and it can be booked on their website.
A guided tour. Okay. And what I missed at the beginning, just because of the audio, what's the name of the group that's putting it together?
It's Collingwood Food Tours.
Collingwood Food Tours.
Yeah. And her name is Heidi.
Okay. Well, it sounds really interesting. So you don't mind being the point person there and just sort of following up, because it sounds like it could be of interest to our membership.
I think so.
Yeah, let's keep that on the agenda. And once we find out more, do you think it's something that's going to happen in the summer? Is this?
Yeah, so she was thinking to start it maybe in May or so. Yeah,
okay, perfect. So maybe we'll have more of a clearer idea of what it's all about in March.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. So let's put that to the next agenda. Hopefully you'll have some more information by then. But I think it sounds interesting. Did you guys?
There's a website for it. That's interesting. It looks like it's ongoing to me, and you kind of just pick itineraries, whether you're heading towards Creemore or Thornbury. There's a list of itineraries on there.
Okay. Interesting. Do people pay to go on it for the guided tour? They do, yeah. Okay.
So you probably pay a listing fee or something. Looks like maybe.
But also the participants pay, is what I'm understanding.
So we don't pay. It's we. I'm not exactly clear on the details to that, but from what I understand, it's we don't pay for it. It's the people that book it.
Okay, so it's the participants that pay.
Yeah. So on here it says like $85 for a tour on Friday, February the 11th. And so that probably covers your transportation or your food at the locations or something. But
Right.
So it looks like it's, so I'm also working with another tour company. It's called Guess Where. And it's, they direct people to our area, and you get an itinerary, open up an envelope, and it surprises you on where you're going. And this looks like sort of the same thing, where it's created an itinerary for you, and they have like a Collingwood destination and a Thornbury destination, and it sounds like from Linda saying they want to have a Creemore destination.
Yeah, I'm working with Guess Where as well, Heather. So yeah, okay, cool. All right, so that sounds really interesting. Let's keep that on our agenda and follow up. Anything else, Linda, to add for now? Okay. Chamber of Commerce, Heather, would you like to give us a bit of an update on some of the programs they're doing? And
Sure. So I took it on for the BIA to reach out to Katie from the Clearview Chamber of Commerce, who is organizing and hosting the first annual Clearview Women's Day. Essentially, they are looking for participation from local businesses, and they like to highlight some that are owned and run by women because of the theme of the first annual Women's Day. I will post a link to the event on our Facebook page. And it's a virtual event. They wanted to have it live, but this year it'll be a virtual event, and they have some guest speakers, etc. Creemore Springs has taken on a sponsorship for the event. They are also looking for donations from different businesses for prizes, etc., or an auction. So they're just looking at awareness and participation from the Village of Creemore businesses, and I can share more on our webpage so that people can look into it if they're interested and participate at their. The date is actually Sunday, March 6th at 1 p.m. And I said, oh, wow, that's a perfect time for everybody to be working in the businesses in Creemore. But that's what they have that's organized. And I said I would share it. It's an hour and a half. It's an hour and a half on Sunday, March 6th at 1 p.m.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, Heather. That's a great update. So, Sarah, I have you for an Easter update. Easter's coming.
I talked to Darcy today. She is looking for a little bit of input just in terms of the way we want to integrate the stores with any activities. I guess in the past, one of the activities was, well, the main activity was that they put the eggs around. Each of the eggs, some of them had things in them. Some of the things directed people to various stores. And just with COVID and everything, she's just wondering if that's a format that still works, or if we're better off just offering something right in the eggs, like a chocolate treat or something like that, to keep contact low. I don't know. So I said I would bring that to this group for some input.
So thoughts? Jen, thoughts on Easter? Put you on the hot seat now that you're back.
I don't know. I think we still have to worry about contact. Like I wish we didn't have to worry about it, but yeah, I don't know what to do this year.
Yeah.
I think it's better to err on the safe side too.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's kind of what I said to her. That was my gut feeling, but I just wanted to make certain. So that was one of the questions that she had, that she was hoping for direction. And then the other thing that she was wondering was about decoration for downtown. If she's happy to assume that as part of the budget, but she'd just like permission to go ahead and do that. And she was thinking that what she would do is, working with the school, she'd cut out large chloroplast eggs and take them to the school to be painted by the students, was her initial idea. So she just wanted, again, I guess Jackie's kind of heading up street decor, but I don't know that there were any plans for Easter. And I know that Darcy's definitely incorporated that in the Easter plans in the past. So again, just looking for some direction there.
Well, that sounds great. That sounds great to have the kids in the school involved in doing the Easter eggs. And will they kind of be like tying them to the trees or something, I assume?
I think that's the plan at this point. Yeah.
That's lovely. So you know what we should do is just I should make a point with the with our street decor committee that we should probably have the scarves and the mittens off before Easter, so that Darcy could go around and put the eggs in place of the scarves, if she's going to tie them to trees or hang them from trees. I don't know what her thoughts are.
Yeah. Easter's April, so I would think that we'd want to get those scarves and stuff down before then.
I'd say,
but hey, it's a good deadline. Like, if nothing else, I think having it down by Easter is an awesome idea, Lori.
to the date of Easter this year.
I think we go wait till March break, and then when March break is done, if we started taking down the decor, would be a good time, wouldn't it?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
We're gonna need lots of scissors or X-Acto knives so we don't break branches and cut all the ties out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's great.
That's all I needed on that, and I will share that with her. And then at the next meeting, I will bring forward kind of a more comprehensive plan so that everybody's aware of exactly what's going to be happening. We can make any adjustments if it doesn't work. Sorry?
Give her a budget of 800. Is she confident with that?
Yep, she's comfortable with that. And yeah, she's comfortable with that. And as I said, I'll bring back kind of the whole plan for comment and approval at the next meeting. So then she has a month to make any adjustments. But I think she's, I guess now is also a great time to just ask everybody here, in terms of location, it's a bit problematic, obviously, with the park. And using Mad River Park would be pushing people quite a ways from the BIA, so that feels a little bit odd. Using the log cabin and the surrounding area is kind of maybe the backup plan, but does anybody have any input or ideas there?
Would it be dangerous in any way to put the eggs or the treats or whatever she's hiding on the main street?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That's why we're talking about it as a group, so we can think it through, a little group think.
Yeah.
She's looking for some input, because we're all feeling like without that space we're so used to having it, it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, without going into the businesses, I wonder if there would be enough hiding spots on the street to sort of put them in and around, or if that would just be a nuisance.
Or do we, does Darcy decorate eggs, like color them pretty, put them, or some kind of funky that Darcy art, and put them in our store windows? They identify these, or have like a coloring sheet, or identify these eggs in some way. And then there's a location where you pick up a little treat.
Maybe that's the way to do it, is more like with the Canada Day, the scavenger hunt idea, where there's a location where they go and they pick up their treat. I think that's a really nice idea. I will, so that they could get like a little Easter basket at the very end. I think that Darcy,
or
it would take them to the final location. That's a great idea. I'll mention that to her and see if that works. And then maybe it is that there are eggs in each different store and they have to identify them. I think that's great.
Or they come back and they tell us how many they found, or something.
You know what would be really cute is if she painted all the different eggs, different colors, and then we could make the color photocopy, and then they'd have to write the name next to which business it was in or something.
Circle it.
Yeah, I think that's great. I'll give her that and see what she wants to do with that. But I think that's a good way to keep it in the BIA and keep it safe.
And it can be over a weekend and not just over 1.1 hour that sometimes the chaos of Easter is. And then they can come on their leisure throughout 3 days or like the weekend. And then depending on who wants to sit and hand out a basket, but that's about it.
I think that I'm always a believer that people are more prone to do it if there's an actual time frame. Otherwise, they just put it off. But if we did like 3 or 4 hours over the Saturday morning coinciding with the market, so like that they could do the activity anytime between like 9 and noon. Would that work?
Yeah, okay. Or like, yeah, exactly. That would be great.
Okay. I will, I'll run that by her and see if that excites her. I mean, but I think she'll find that really fun.
Like color.
Love it. Great.
Yeah.
Thank her on our behalf for stepping up and helping us by participating and organizing.
Yeah, she says it's fun. So that's what we need. We need people doing things because it's fun and helpful to the community.
Very helpful. We appreciate her help. Okay, thank you for that update. Great. So I think that concludes the events section for now in terms of new events that are going on. So it's February, yeah, right. Okay, so that's it. So then public participation, I don't see anybody participating from the public. Okay, so let's move into the financial report and have a little look at our budget. Sorry, I'm moving papers around again. Has everyone had a chance to like get this document? It's the budget overview. It says profit and loss budget overview. If you don't have this particular one, in the back of the AGM PowerPoint presentation, it was also in there. If you need it, I can email it to you real quick. If you want me to email it and so you have it on your screen, I can do that. Basically, what I think, based on the feedback of the AGM meeting, and we had some really good discussion there, so I think that was wonderful. We'd like to go ahead tonight, if you're comfortable, or first talk about if there's any changes. And then the goal is tonight is for us as the Executive Board of Management to approve the budget so that we can start officially spending the money and take it to council as well. Thoughts on changes? I'll give everyone a few secs to look over and just look over your notes from the AGM. I know the note I had was the garbage. We were going to look at that. I think Sarah and I discussed it earlier.
And if I could just make mention of what I was talking about with the confusion around the levy. I spoke with Kelly McDonald, the treasurer, and she was made aware of the issue around the way that the levy was put into place in 2020. And so she's trying to help me with a solution. Right now, she wants to put them back on the roll. And then we would continue to collect the levy. But I've asked if it's possible for us to wait one more year so that this year, because this year we actually have the budget so that we have the $20,000 from our membership plus the $1,000 and change donation from the foundation. And she wants to revert it so the foundation pays the municipality directly, and she says we can't change the $20,000 because that's already in the budget for the township's purposes. So I'm just kind of working through this with her with the hopes that we will be able to maintain the 20,000 from our members and then the 1,000. So I think we'll sort it out. John, did you also speak with Kelly? Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. My understanding back when the days of Edward, when he was the CFO there, was that it wasn't the 20,000. The 20,000 is still set. We can't change that. It's the way it's divided amongst the membership and amongst the buildings.
That's correct. But what Kelly is saying, which was why we did experience some changes to the levy as members over the past year. But Kelly's saying that she would like to put the foundation back on the rolls for the levy, which would mean that we're still limited to that $20,000. So I'm asking her if we can delay it for one more year so that we can, we can just tidy it up, because losing $1,000 from our levy, like from our income, which is what it would be, because we wouldn't be able to get the $1,000 donation that's already sitting in the budget. Right? I have that $1,000 sitting as a general donation from the foundation currently. Does that make sense? I still have the $20,000 in the budget. And then in the general donations, I have $1,000 from the foundation. That's what we had last year, and that's what I had assumed we would have again this year. So I'm trying to protect that in my conversations with Kelly.
So that means we have basically a $21,000.
We still have. Last year we had a $20,000 levy plus $1,000 in change from the foundation as a general donation, and I'd like to maintain that for 2021 or what year are we in? 2022, and so I'm working to maintain that. But just a warning that it's a bit clunky administratively. They haven't done this before, and neither have we, so we're just trying to sort it out. But
well, as the treasurer, I'm happy to take your advice and Kelly's advice. If that's what you think is the best, I'm willing to support that.
Well, that's what we have in the budget. Ultimately, the decision is going to be at the municipal level. So we just need to be prepared that if they aren't able to sort it out with us, then we might see a loss of $1,000 in revenue.
Yeah.
So we just need to be aware of it. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but just I don't want to mislead anybody. I want us all to know that that's a possibility.
Okay, I get it.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but the money from the foundation at this point is a donation, and the levy is still the levy. So as long as you keep the two separate.
Well, yes, that was my hope. But when I talked to Kelly, she felt like they should be rolled back in and that it should be collected as a levy again in 2022. She's afraid that they'll lose track of it if they don't do it immediately. So I'm in discussion with her. Yeah. So I'm just in discussion with her, hoping that they'll delay it for 1 year so that our budget actually aligns with what's going to happen in 2023.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At that point, I think it is prudent for the municipality to continue to collect it. I fear that when there is a change, you lose track of these things, and then that would be it. So it is advantageous for the municipality to do it going forward, but for this year, it's not what our expectation was. So I'm hoping that we can do what we expected to do.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. I get it. Thank you for explaining it twice to me. Okay. Great. So with that in mind, with that in mind, let's have a look at the budget, or the proposed budget, I should say, and sort of go through things, starting with events. Oh, this is income, sorry. So income at the top, it's a large amount of income, right? So this is going to look a little skewed because we are very hopeful that we're going to receive grants, that we're going to receive some sponsorships for Creemore Nights. It's quite a large piece of the puzzle here. So we're looking at total income of 102,234. It's a little bit more than we're used to looking at. Okay, so but let's look at the expenses and how we want to spend that income, because the income and is up in the air until we hear more about grants and things like that. We're just predicting what we expect to be able to raise. Expenses. Sarah, did you want to go through this with everyone, or you were happy for me to continue, or?
Yeah, go ahead. If there's any specifics, I can answer.
Okay. Yeah. So if anyone has any questions at some point, or if you're not quite sure, or you think it's too much or too little, just speak up. We've got administration. This is really basic stuff for us. Events. So we've got Santa Claus Parade. I think we upped it a bit from last year, but there was a question about the price of the float being in there. The $2,000 was in the budget last year. I think it was 5,800 was our budget last year for the Santa Claus Parade. We increased it, but then remember that 2,000 where we purchased the float was in there. So it doesn't make sense for us to decrease it and make it about a $4,000 or $5,000 budget instead of $6,000. Or are you guys happy with the $6,000? $6,000 could mean that we could possibly have another marching band or something else, a little bit more.
I think also in that $6,000 might sit some other Christmas activities as well, Lori, because it's not really, there's, we've spent in the past, there have been big expenditures around Christmas too. So beyond just marketing. So that might, some of that might sit in there too.
I didn't think it was. I thought we broke it out, but you could be right. Okay. If that's more than just Santa Claus Parade, then that makes a lot more sense.
So that would be, that would be like event costs, not including marketing, for both the Santa Claus Parade and any other Christmas shopping event we wanted to do.
Okay. So are we happy to leave that at $6,000 as it sits? I see you're nodding. Yeah. Jen, Linda, Heather. Yeah. John. Everyone's kind of nodding. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. Creemore Nights. Wow, that's a big one. Okay. 73,800.
That's a lot of work. When I look at that number, all I think is, man, that's a lot of work spending that money and making that money.
Like, we look at $800 for an event or $1,000 for an event, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, 73. We're used to scraping by with little or no money. Okay, so then we've got some money here for marketing that we're going to hopefully, I've had lots of people reach out to me about some ideas for hiring potentially some contract folks that can help us with our social media some of our website and things like that. So I am just in the process of putting together a job description, I suppose you could say. And then we're going to reach out to some of these folks and see if they're interested and if our budget fits with their budget. I think we may not have enough money for some of them, but we'll see where we go. So I'm going to leave the marketing as it is right now. Does anybody else have any suggestions or want to change anything there in the marketing section? No, not just yet. Okay. Signage. Nothing really changes here much. We suggested we may have to do some maintenance and repairs to our billboard out on Airport Road, and the Todd signs, which we are billed at every year, so nothing really changes. Streetscape. So we've got the flowers, the furnishings, which is basically the Muskoka chairs. We thought we might purchase a few more, and I think that's a really great idea. Maintenance, that's the weeding that we may have to do, or pruning of trees or anything that we may have to pay for. Seasonal decor. The only thing I'm worried about, quite honestly, is the street cleaning this year. I'm worried that the township won't be able to provide us with enough street cleaning for it to be sufficient. And last year it was one time for the whole year. And I'm worried because they don't have the proper equipment and they have to rent it and they have to rely on third-party contractors. I'm wondering if it doesn't work, should we put some money and do some street cleaning ourselves and hire a contractor to do it?
With the contractor, though, it sounded more like an issue around the contractor's availability, didn't it? When we.
Yep, it did.
From Doug.
We could be in the same boat, right?
Yeah, we could, but I also feel like we'd have more control.
We would need to know what those costs are. Do we know what those costs are if we did it on our own?
Well, Lori, why don't we see what the costs are and we can bring it back. It's not unusual to amend a budget. We do have money in reserve and we can add it. It would just take an amendment. Is that true, Kayla?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea because I know I've reached out to Dan Pro and he hasn't responded, and I know Jackie has as well, just about how we're going to worry about the street cleaning going forward and what his plans are and what his budget is and how Creemore fits into that budget. And we just don't have any information back yet. So that's a good idea. Let's leave it for now until we find out a little bit more and then revisit this because we have to really clean our streets a lot this year.
Just a suggestion, while you're checking on the pricing of that, may be a good idea to have an idea of when you want to do it, so you can check availability as well.
Yeah, I agree. Because there's very particular times of the year that we have, we know when the leaves fall, we know when the fruits fall off the tree, and that's just when it creates a lot of problems on the street and on the sidewalks. So yeah, good point. Okay, so I'm gonna skip back. So beautification, the total we have here is $10,006.50. So that's basically for all of the flowers and maintaining the street. Garbage bin and garbage labor, that's Steve Davenport who empties our garbage each week, and supplies, garbage bags, etc., cleaning supplies. So our garbage comes up at $6,040.
And we're saying that might be slightly less because I wish Jackie were here. We don't have the proper number, but she's saying that the garbage bins might be less. I made the mistake of putting the full amount as if we're weekly pickup all the way through the year when we're not weekly pickup all the way through the year. So I apologize. That's my year.
So that number that's on there, that is weekly pickup. So it actually could go down.
It could go down. I would say maybe by $600.
I know it's not a lot, is it?
No, I don't think it's worth changing necessarily. It's more than, like, it's at the top end of what we would spend. So I don't think there's any harm to leaving it like that.
Okay, let's leave it there. And, we might need more pickup anyway, because we're still in this process of trying to figure out the bins. And I know some businesses feel the bins aren't enough for them, so they may rely on it a bit more. Okay, so total streetscape, which includes the garbage, then comes to 1669, almost $17,000 just for streetscape and garbage. Kind of amazing, isn't it? Okay.
And that's with Saint Steve working so hard for us. Oh my gosh, guys. Every time you see that man, just say a prayer. Oh, he's unbelievable.
We're very appreciative of Steve, that's for sure. So thoughts? Anybody have anything jarring here, or anything they'd like to point out, or something they're uncomfortable with, or they just want a better explanation on?
No.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm kidding, of course. Okay. I think it's really reasonable. I don't think, other than Creemore Nights, which is sort of swaying us a little bit to one end, nothing has really changed. I think, cost of living, expenses, everything increases a little bit, but nothing's really changed from the last year or two. So, Creemore Nights aside, I think it's a really reasonable budget. It's nothing different, right? So are we ready to put a motion together to approve the budget as is? Sarah, are you comfortable?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can you put the motion together, Sarah, as the treasurer?
I would like to put a motion to pass the 2022 budget as presented.
Okay. So now we're going to vote. So, oh, sorry, is there a seconder? Excuse me, I forgot. Somebody to second budget. Jen's going to second that. Thank you. And then for voting, to vote on the budget as it is here for 2022, all in favor, please raise your hands. Perfect. Okay, so it's unanimous. So motion is carried. Thanks very much. So that's, now we got to spend it. Now the hard part comes. Now it looks good on paper, but now we actually have to live up to all these wonderful plans we have. All of us.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. So that was important. So our next step here is to provide this to council and have them look over our budget. And Sarah and I will make a date to attend a council meeting perhaps and present this to council and have them approve it. And then that sort of makes it more official, I suppose. Okay, so that really concludes. I don't have a marketing update. My marketing update is I'm working on trying to find some people to help with marketing. I don't have a marketing update, I'm afraid. New business. Does anyone have any new business they'd like to add in? Our next meeting is March the 8th at 7 p.m. That's all I had tonight. Does anyone have anything else or anything I've forgotten? Gotta keep it short and sweet tonight. It might be a record for me. No? Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate your time and your thoughts on the budget. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting? Excuse me. Heather, you're always the one, and John's gonna second, and we're all adjourning the meeting. Thanks very much. Great job on the AGM. Great job on this. I know it's a lot of work this time of year, but we're getting through it. It's going to be an exciting year. I'm pretty excited.